Hi, my name is Dejan and I'm a failure enthusiast. I believe that failures are just part of the success and not the end. Together with my team, I'm bringing to you the failure talks and maybe new ideas on how to leverage a setback for a successful comeback. Hello everyone, welcome to the Failure Talks. I am here with Sinem Günel. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
For those who do not know you, she's 15 times a top writer on medium.com. She's a professional when it comes to writing, and I took a look on your LinkedIn profile where you say you're here to empower people to live happier lives.
Exactly.
We're going to talk today about how to become and maybe how not to become a top writer in general and even more on medium.com.
Exactly, and I'm super excited to talk about it. So Medium is my absolute passion. I love writing. I love writing about things that I love, such as personal growth, such as business entrepreneurship. So I'm happy to share all the insights I gathered over the last 2 years.
Let's jump into that actually. So writing in general, I know I'm struggling with that myself, and I hope you will help me to overcome these struggles. But why did you even start writing actually? Because you're a coach, you speak a lot with people, work with people, but now you have this passion with putting words on a paper, on a digital paper, and then share with the world.
Yep.
How did you end up doing that?
Super weird story actually, and not sexy at all, but so my boyfriend and I were one day, sitting in a bus, and he told me last night he watched a video of a guy who explained that there is this platform called medium.com and that you can write everything that you want, publish, and even get paid for your writing. And I thought that sounds really cool. So I never thought about writing before, but I knew I can write. That's what most people think. So I checked it out, and I guess like 5 hours later, I published my first post. And that was pretty much the beginning of the whole story, actually.
Wait a sec, it is sexy. How can you start something doing after 5 hours, you said?
Well, I already had a lot of content, so
Okay.
I was already doing lots of workshops, these coachings, holding a lot of presentations around self-improvement topics. So I had a lot to write about. So I think my first post was something like how to build habits that stick or something like that.
Okay.
Basically summing up 3 strategies on how to build habits. And looking back, the post is really bad. And I don't know why anybody read it at all. So I guess it was like 10 people or so reading it. But yeah, that was basically the first step into the Medium writing journey.
Wow, there are 10 more than without publishing. Because I'm wondering about that. I am also having a lot of things that I'm working on, and I love especially being a failure enthusiast and helping others to overcome the fear of failing in general. And believe me, there is so much content, but it took me, I just started by the way like a week ago, it took me more than 1.5 years to have my first 500 words on a paper.
Yeah.
And I'm so impressed by that. So I now know why I want to do that, right? But what is your reason that you share this? I mean, we know how you do it now, but what is the why behind your passion actually?
There are actually 2 different sides of the story, and I think it's super important to always have these different sides. The one is, what do you want to change in others' lives? And I feel like I'm getting hundreds of comments and messages every month of people reading my work. So I'm reaching thousands of people every day who are reading my stuff. And most people struggle to start writing because they think either they have nothing to say, or they don't know how to write it, or that it is already there what they want to write about. But the thing is, even if it's there, even if it's not super unique what you're writing, nobody can write it in a way you can. And sometimes I get posts, so comments of people telling me, oh my God, that post just made up my day, and I will change doing this and that in my relationship, or that just was the spark of motivation I needed to transform my morning routine. And it's just one post that led them to do some sort of change in their lives. And that's super cool for me. And it's super cool to connect with people from all over the globe, because Medium has a global community and readers from all over the place. So that's the one thing. I just love this. You get feedback so quickly. And of course, you also get negative comments. So the more people see your work, the more negativity also comes back.
Is this good, something in order to improve yourself? How do you deal with this negativity?
Definitely, because I don't believe in perfect writing. If you can spend 10 hours on a post, and there will still be people who don't like it. So at some point, if you reach a lot of people, you will also get negative comments. And there are tons of different ways how people express themselves negatively. Some just want to be mean. Okay. Some find a struggle deep within themselves, and then they reflect it on your post and are angry because you put your words out there. There are different styles of negative comments, and you just have to figure out how you want to deal with them.
Did you even think before starting writing anything on medium.com that there will be feedback eventually, and how to deal with that?
No, I didn't think about it. It's actually crazy, because when you start out, you don't think that thousands of people or millions of people will read your work. So I never thought about that. I saw that you can write, that you can reach the masses, that you can make money through your writing, but I guess I didn't think that it would grow to that extent.
Could be even exactly the other way around. People are afraid of starting writing because nobody will read it anyway, right? So they give up even before starting something because they're afraid or not having enough self-confidence. That, as you said, all of us, we have a story, and maybe it's exactly our story that will help others to do something better in their life. For those who do not know medium.com, the platform, can you just give us a short summary of what it is and how you use it for your own benefits?
Sure. Medium is basically a publishing platform, so the world's biggest publishing platform right now. It was founded by Eve Williams, the founder of Twitter. And it's basically a place where everybody can write and publish. So you can immediately create your profile, write something and publish. And if you do that, like I explained, probably nobody will read your work, but if you dive deep into understanding how the platform works, what people want to read, how to write, what to write, and if you improve your craft, you basically have the possibility to reach millions of readers, because readers are already there, so there are millions of readers checking out the platform every day, and they are looking for great stuff. So if you deliver great writing, you can reach those people, and Medium actually is based on a partner program. That means that if you log into your account and if you are not a paying member, you can read 3 premium stories per month. Okay. And if you pay $5 per month, you can read everything. And a lot of people are paying these $5 because there is just great stuff on the platform. And these $5 of every reader are then splitted among the writers. So the more people you reach, the more readers you have, and the more they engage with your writing, the more you actually get paid for your writing. So it's actually pretty fair and actually super simple, because the more great stuff you write, and if you apply the rules, you get rewarded for it.
That's amazing. I mean, I am a premium member. I pay for that, and that's also how I discovered kind of you. And again, invited you to be here. Thank you so much. Actually, we all have these maybe struggles in ourselves that nobody will read it, but some of us, like me, we start. Unfortunately, 1.5 years later than I initially planned. However, I started thanks also to you. And now, when people started, what are the biggest hiccups, the biggest failures and fuck-ups that can happen, and that actually will happen, unless you prepare yourself like crazy? But I think this is not the purpose. It's more like expressing yourself and growing with these experiments, right? Yeah. So what are the biggest fuck-ups actually that can happen at the beginning of such a career?
The funny thing is, so you said people often wait too long before they start, and then the other type of people is the type who just They don't worry if anybody will read it, but they worry that there will be any kind of mistake. So they are just, they want their writing to be perfect. They want, they are just afraid of putting it out. They're not because nobody will read it, but because maybe there's a mistake or maybe they could have done it better. So these are actually the two types of people who are struggling to start.
So we have these people who want to be perfect have a perfect result.
Yeah.
But there's the thing, right? Perfection is like
doesn't exist anyway.
And you shouldn't actually aim for perfection. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So that's the one thing. And then the problem is most people, keep improving their writing or their texts in how they think it's good or perfect. But they fail to apply the rules of the platform. And that's something brands do, that's something writers do, and that's probably the biggest reason why people fail on Medium or on any platform, because on any platform there are people who already have a huge audience and they know something. They know it better than the others, and there are certain rules you need to apply. And most people either don't want to apply these rules or they feel like it would cut off their creativity. But then, on the other hand, they struggle to build an audience and to get readers.
So you have to follow the rules in order to have an audience. But honestly, thank you for sharing this with me right now and also with the audience and the community. Never heard of that. What are the rules? Shit, that's my first fuck up already. As a wannabe author.
Just, there's this beautiful term like talking for the language of the platform. So every platform, you could not write huge text blocks on Instagram because people are on Instagram to browse through pictures. That would also not work on TikTok, and it's the same with Medium. So you have certain formats that basically work and others that don't work, and that's you can. That applies to formatting, that applies to your headlines, that applies to what you write about and how you write. So everything basically has best practices. And by applying these best practices, you basically increase your chance of actually getting published and getting your work out in front of real readers.
I love that. Can we dive a little bit deeper, because what are these best practices? You said the title, the length, maybe what you write about, and honestly, thank you so much. I'm right now okay, what did I say in the last? What was my headline? Oh, shit, I could make it better. So because I never heard of that. Of course there are rules. TikTok is different than Instagram, and Instagram is different than Snapchat, and all of these things. But I thought I just can express myself, and people will clap and be amazed by that, and I slowly will grow with that. But if I'm doing it wrong from the very beginning, which obviously I am doing, what are the 3 rules that you highly recommend? Don't do this fuck up.
Headline is, for example, super important. So many people spend hours on writing the text, and they are so happy when they are done that they write some sort of headline just to be done and publish it, because they just want it to be alive as quickly as possible. And that's super wrong, because I first see the headline. If I'm on the Medium front page, you first see the headline. If the headline is not sexy and appealing, nobody will click on it, and your text can be, you can have written the most amazing blog post of the world and nobody will read it because your headline sucks.
But is the term correct? Clickbait, right? You have so is it like clickbait in terms of I met my mother after 20 years, but what happened then, I didn't expect it or something like that, like this BS actually. Is it about that? No, I guess not.
Yes and no.
All right.
That's actually a great example. Why would I click on that? What's in it for me in a story like that? For me personally, from my perspective, I would not click on it because I don't understand what's in that story for me.
Okay.
Maybe it's interesting for someone who has experienced the same, but for the broad audience, the reader will always ask themselves, okay, why should I click that? What's in it for me?
Okay.
And that's actually a big struggle, because most people, the people who don't wait 1.5 years until they publish, who think they can write and who start writing and publishing quickly, they think that their lives and their stories are so interesting that they can write about themselves. And that's like that's probably the second biggest mistake.
Okay.
Because the thing is, nobody is interested in your life or what you think or
Maybe
what
just
you experience.
The family and friends who will support you with that. So it's not about like, this is me and now watch me, which could be eventually more on Instagram and TikTok, you know, your lifestyle. But it's more like, this is me, this is what I experienced, and I would love to share with you so that you can become a better person.
Exactly.
Have a better business running, etc., etc. Okay, that's interesting. That's a very interesting
So
point.
always, like, you are always writing for the reader, and there are, of course, for every rule there's an exception, and there are great and huge writers on Medium who share their personal stories. But again, sharing personal stories works if people can connect with you on a deeper level. If you manage to say something or write something that I've been thinking about for a long time, but I couldn't put it into words, or I've never found somebody to talk about this particular issue, or I was wondering if somebody else was having the same struggles or emotions, and if you put it into words, that's super deep. Then you can reach a lot of people because you're saying something that many people are thinking. But in any other case, it's all about, why should I read this post? So what's in it for me? What can I learn here? Can I get inspiration? Can I get knowledge? Can I get some sort of in-depth insight in something that I've never thought about? You know, if you've worked for Amazon or, I don't know, Apple, and have some insights that nobody would have thought about, that's interesting because it's a new perspective.
I know what you mean. So it's really about like, how can I benefit from reading this thing as a person, rather than just, okay, now that's a nice story, a love story maybe, but you know, I'm happy for the writer, for the author, but not for I can't do anything with that. Okay, that's nice. So we're here at the Failure Talks, and I would love to know, what was your biggest failure when you started actually with writing, and how did you realize that it's a failure, and then what did you learn out of it so that you are in the end a top writer right now?
I mean, I've been failing on Medium for more than a year, almost 1.5 years. So I guess I can't name one article that failed, but I've been failing the whole time over this process. So, but for some reason, the weird thing is I kept writing. So I've written more than 200 posts over this 1.5 years, even though I was failing. So I was making, you know, I was having very few readers.
So that's the failing, right? You did something in order to help others, but nobody was interested in that, right?
Nobody was seeing the posts, so that's the biggest struggle, because you know, you're exposed to an algorithm, and if Medium doesn't show your work to readers, nobody sees it, and nobody can read it. So
okay, and you didn't know that there is like this. You kept on writing and writing. Maybe as your writing skills grew, right? The result was still the same, and you said like, okay, now I mean, this is one of the failure, but I have to change it. I'm like, I want to step up the game right now. So how did you realize that, and what did you do then?
So I basically, at one point, I asked myself, like, it was a yearly reflection of 2019, and I asked myself what I want to focus on in 2020. And I realized, so I've been doing a lot of things, you know, so in 2019, I've published a book, I've been hosting workshops, seminars for a long time, I've been creating online courses, doing one-on-one mentorings. And I realized that writing on Medium was something that I really loved. I loved the writing process because I can do it anywhere, at any time. I can write whatever I want, more or less, as long as there's an audience who wants to read it. And I also loved that there is so much potential, because I was writing and not having results, but I was seeing the results of the big writers.
Okay.
So I knew you can make a lot of money through your writing. You can build huge email lists of followers who really want to read what you write. And I realized that's what I want to focus on in 2020. So I basically took the decision to write every day from January 1st. So that was basically what I changed. And after doing that for a while, you learn a lot. And you know, I already knew most of the rules, but I didn't apply them accordingly, because it was just a fun side project. I was not taking it that seriously. But then I realized that's actually what I really love doing, and yeah, dived deeper into understanding how it works and making it work for me.
Amazing. So you had the chance actually to give up because you wrote for a whole year, it didn't work that well, but you still said like, no, I like it, I want to pursue it, I want to continue with that.
Yeah.
And I will ask myself, how can I make it better, right?
Yeah.
This is something that will oftentimes happen when people start doing things. Oh my gosh, that's actually a perfect now analogy. People, you know, first they struggle with starting in general because they're afraid of failing. What if it doesn't go wrong? What if nobody reads that? What if nobody buys my product? So this is one, you know, huge fuck up that a lot of people do, right? But the other one is that people then, those of them who start doing something, they also give up very soon again because it didn't work out and I'm failing now, nobody's reading that, I had this dream, nobody wants it, so I'll stop it here. And here's the thing that I strongly believe in, like right now, that's exactly the time not to give up, like you did, right? Do not give up because now you proved yourself, you've been brave, you started something, you developed a skill, and you know how it's not working, how it's not done. And by reflecting and asking yourself and taking this advantage that you have, you will continue and not giving up, most importantly, you will eventually come to the success. And this is Thomas Edison. I mean, he also had this 1,000, out of say 10,000 light bulbs experiments. And somebody, I remember this story. You know the story?
Yeah.
I think there was a journalist asking him, Thomas Edison, so you failed 10,000 times. When will you give up? And he wondered, like, I don't understand this question. I found 10,000 ways how it's not working, how it's not done. And if I eliminate all these experiments that fail, I will eventually find the one solution. And he did it, right? Yeah. So this is now, I like it very much also your analogy. In order, I know how it's done actually. Giving up right now would be even a bigger fuck up, a bigger failure. So let's give it a chance, because I'm a step ahead in terms of others, but especially in terms of me a year ago, right? I love that. I love that.
It's super true. So that's also super true for a lot of new writers on Medium. And it's funny because, you know, on Medium, if you go there and if you look for posts about how to succeed on Medium, you will come across a lot of articles, you know, of how you can get rich quick by writing. And it's crazy because a lot of people are reading these articles of top writers and how they make money and how much they make and how they grew their entire business out of Medium, which is super possible. But then people have wrong expectations. They write 5 posts and then they message me saying, I've written 5 posts and this doesn't make sense for me. I guess it doesn't work.
Okay.
It's funny because, you know, in any other business, you cannot expect to make money or build customers or build a business by just investing a few hours of work. But people expect it from Medium, or maybe also from other digital businesses and digital earning models, because they see what others are making and they feel like they deserve the same. But what they don't see is that these people, you know, who are making 4 or 5 figures per month through their writing, they have been writing for a long time.
They made a lot of mistakes, maybe.
They made a lot of mistakes. They have written a lot of stuff that probably nobody read back then, and they are still writing a lot. So it's not about passive income or about, you know, easily making money because somebody is interested in your story. It's not. It's a way to make your writing work, and it's a way to get paid for your words and for your ideas. But it's not it's not a get rich quick scheme. And that's funny because people tend to believe they've written 5 posts and now they deserve to have thousands of readers.
That's true. So it's about commitment as well, right?
Definitely.
You have to commit yourself to this project. Hey, you shared a lot of nice stuff with us. Also the mistakes you've done, the others are doing. But tell me like a success story, or let's put it that way, your comeback, right? Because 2019, 2020, you said you reflected on the last year, you made a decision, you want to continue with that, it's not working well, but I will not give up. And I call it the comeback, right? Maybe even the failing
Yeah.
before was necessary in order to become the person you're today. So what's a comeback story in your life?
Actually, exactly what I mentioned, because it was this end of December 2019. I decided to give it a chance and go all in and write more. And at that time, we have actually been on vacation in Egypt, and I have written a few posts during that vacation because I travel a lot and I also work while traveling because it's basically the lifestyle that I want to have. And then, one of the posts basically got a lot of traction. So shortly after making the decision to write more, I've written every day for 5 months or something. And during that time, a lot of posts just went viral. And I have posts that I've reached, 200,000 views and readers on one post, which is crazy because you reach so many people and so many people comment on these posts. And the crazy thing is, I lately checked the stats and I realized that one of these posts I wrote back in December when I made the decision to write more actually made more money than we paid for that vacation we took there back in December. And that's super impressive for me because, not every post goes viral and reaches the masses. Some just suck, some are bad still. Sometimes I write stuff just because I want to write it. But in the long term, it's just super impressive to write what you love and also get rewarded for it. And that was for me at that time when I saw that one post is getting so much traction. It's also super motivating to keep going. Because the more you write, the better your chances that one more post will go viral, one more post will reach the masses. And that's something that kept me going basically until now.
Wow, that's an amazing thing. So you paid your vacation and actually maybe the next two as well with this one viral one. Thank you so much. So you also, and that's amazing, you offer courses on how to write, right? All the rules that you mentioned beforehand. So where can we find the course? How does it work with the working with you?
If you want to dive deeper into understanding how Medium works, then you can check mediumwritingacademy.com. There you can basically find free advice. You can find tons of posts that I've already written about Medium. So if you just want to get an overview of how it works, and you can also find the programs that we offer and how I can support you on also becoming a top writer on Medium.
Medium Writing Academy. And I guess if there's an online course, we can also put it into the description of this video. And we haven't done it before, but if anybody has a question for you, you can also comment here, write a comment, and we will pass it on to you.
Sure.
And honestly, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun talking to you.